week we tackled vertical cateye versus isolation. This week our challenge is going to be horizontal cateye versus isolation. This move right here. Now, it should be said, this is one of the hardest moves that I learned in my second year of spinning. Quite frankly, when I learned it, there were maybe a handful of people in the world that could do it at all. In fact, it's still so rare that only a handful of people in the world really do it very frequently. But there are ways and shortcuts that we can get to it. So, let's try learning that. So first and foremost, the horizontal cateye. This, quite frankly, is an incredibly difficult move that is going to take weeks, if not months, to get down inside your body. How you're going to want to do it is you're going to start off with a linear extension. This move right here, going back and forth across the body. Now, as the poi is going underneath your hand, you're going to try and reach high, say to about your nose or chin level. Then, when you get out to the side of your body, you're going to give the poi a little bit of a flick, almost as if you're trying to catch it, right? When that happens, you're going to drop your hand low across your waist and let the poi go across. It's normal to do this in such a way that the poi will shoot down towards your opposite foot. What you want to do instead is try and see if you can get the poi head to float over your hand as you're going back to the side. So again, that winds up being, I'm dragging the poi head under my hand, giving it a quick flick to catch it, and trying to keep it above my hand, all the way over to the other side of my body. Yeah? When I get over to the other side of my body, there's a point right over here where I have to catch the poi again in order to drag it across to the other side of my body. One way that I've heard people visualize this is to imagine there's actually 3 points. A top point, a bottom left, and a bottom right. The top point is where it's dragging underneath your head. The bottom left is where you're doing that flip to get it across, and the bottom right is where you're raising your hand to catch the poi head again and get it back into the cateye, like so. Now, you can do this as 3 segments, like so, but eventually you should be able to do it as a relatively smooth trick, like this. Now it's time to integrate that horizontal cateye into the isolation. It should be said, this is one of the hardest antibrids I know how to do, and I nearly threw out my shoulder doing it the first time. Please avoid the things that I did wrong. One of which was that I kept my elbow high as I was performing the move. Doing this puts an enormous strain on your shoulder. Try and keep your hand above your elbow, like so. And in that way, it'll put less strain on your shoulder and hopefully give you many, many more hours of spinning without those pains in your shoulder that I experienced. Now, integrating these two together is a little bit trickier than it was with the vertical cateye. The vertical cateye, remember, the poi are moving in together opposite, while the hands are moving in split time same direction. With the horizontal cateye, the hands are still moving in split time same direction, but the poi now are moving in split time opposites, rather than together time opposites, right? Here's a couple ways that you can start to integrate these two things together. First and foremost, remember when we were learning the horizontal cateye that we started by having the poi dragged underneath our hand, like so, going from one side of the body to the other. Now, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to try and get it to the point where you can connect that hand with the poi that is going to be doing the isolation, like so. Now, again, when you're doing that flick over on the far side of your body to bring the poi back above your hand, you're trying to do so in a way where you can also maintain the connection between that hand and poi head. In this particular case, the isolation hand is going to go from low to high. You would almost be able to expect that you could catch the two poi together as they were coming back at you like that. Once that happens, the other challenge you're going to have to face is trying to catch the poi on the other side in order to get it back into that place where it's hanging underneath your hand, like so. I'm not going to lie, that part of it just takes practice. There's a certain amount of work that's involved in this, syncing these two moves up together. You're going to have to do the horizontal cateye a little bit faster than you would like, and you're going to have to do the isolation a little bit slower than you would like. But the pieces come together to say, drag, pull, drag, pull, drag, pull, drag, pull, going back and forth. And remember, each time you switch which side of the body you're going to, you're going to switch which hand is on top. When I'm going from right to left, it's my right hand on top. When I'm going from left to right, it's going to be my left hand on top. Thinking, right up, left up, right up, left up, right up, left up, right up, left up. From this point, it becomes a matter of doing a visual check, of trying to ensure that that isolation poi is even with your cateye hand. If you're performing a clean isolation, it should automatically force that hand to go into the proper spots for performing a horizontal cateye. To be honest with you, I didn't do a horizontal cateye cleanly until I learned how to do this antibrid. Once I did, at that point, the pieces finally fell into place for me, and I was able to perform horizontal cateyes in such a way that my hand was performing that isolation movement in the middle. So clearly, this one's a bit of a challenge, but there are great opportunities for integrating it together with a number of other antibrids out there, including pendulum versus cap, as well as tri-catcher versus static spin. I'll show you guys some of those transitions in the coming weeks. Thanks so much for watching, and have yourselves a good week. Peace.
This video right here was made thanks to the kind contributions of these folks right here. They found me at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signed up to make a contribution every month. By doing so, they got access to a whole bunch of extra footage from the videos that I put out every month, plus which, a number of really awesome rewards. If you or anybody that you know has learned something from one of the videos that I've put out, please consider going to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up to be a supporter. Thank you.